Shalom, shalom. I know it's been forever since I've done a video, but I thought I would come and just let you know that it is time for me and mine to move back to Africa. Uh, it's funny how it's been so many videos about Africa and the leadership and Pan-Africanism, and how people are talking about different churches or religious groups, but in reality, no one is talking about prophecy. you know Not everyone, like my friend Eric says, not everyone is called, you know and not everyone will answer the call. So it's funny how when it's time to invest in real estate or different sectors here in the West, everyone is all game for it. But when we look at Africa, a continent of different countries that so many people are benefiting from right now in the West wouldn't even be what it is without Africa. People always shun people, especially melanated people or Black diaspora, for even trying to move back. But fam, I'm just here to tell you that if you don't have a plan to invest in Africa, you are missing out. Now, I know it's a lot of YouTubers, especially some bigger platforms, that talk about their investment academies, and they talk about all the things that they do investment wise on the continent. But it's kind of, I've only seen two YouTubers, and Wayne is one of them. Shout out to her, because she always talk about getting into investments, and even if you want to get free content from her, she offer free content. But fam, we have been manipulated by different people within the Hebrew Israelite community online. We've been deceived, and we also been discouraged and beat down by those same people. Those same people are just workers of iniquity. They want to separate us from Africa. They want to make the road hard for us to get back to Africa. They don't want to make it easy for us to get back. Um, it's kind of hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, because you see so many people get hurt, and you're like, oh, everybody's gonna scam me, or everything that's happening in Africa is gonna negatively impact me. But the reality is, Africa is just wide open for Black Americans, Black diaspora from all over. Rather it be Canada, Britain. There's so many people that I've come in contact with, and they just understand that it may be at the ground now. Africa may not be in the position that we see that it should be in, or it needs to be in, for us to want to invest. But in reality, if we don't get it while it's at this point, like at this building point, it's almost at the peak. And if we don't get it right now, if we don't get in, we're going to be left behind, because the Chinese and the Indian, they have already been there for years, investing and building communities like they do in every country they go to. The Chinese can come to America and make an investment and start a business and thrive, because their entire family is going to come in. But in reality, it's just time for us to move back. I don't really see the benefit of being in America long term anymore. Like I had it in my mind that I would come back and I would work and I would try my best to, build some more wealth and get myself to a position where, I feel like financially stable so I can go back. But in reality, if you don't have if you don't take that first step, for one, but if you don't have that that faith that you really can't see what's in front of your face and you still go, then Africa is not for you. Because if you have to see everything laid out before you, then you won't ever move to Africa. Because Africa is really for the people who are going to build from the ground up. Now, I want to say this because a lot of people want to move to Africa for reasons of getting out of the West, but they still want the luxuries of the West. We are moving to Africa because we don't want the luxuries of the West. We're willing to give that up for peace of mind and other things. You know, be that spiritual practice, we're able to freely practice our spirituality and not have to worry about adhering to governmental, systems. Because when you're in the West, it's certain things that you just have to do, and it's certain agreements, contractual agreements that you have to make. So for us, we've made an investment. The first round of us getting to Tanzania, we made an investment, and our biggest investment was the land. We also made a second investment when we brought all of our equipment to Tanzania. We moved all of our, household items into Tanzania, which in turn your household items could be potentially your business items as well, depending on how you plan to use them. But it's just time for us to move back. And I keep saying that because people always get on this channel, and the first thing you want to say is, well, you ain't telling people the truth about Africa, or, you just telling all the good about Africa. Africa has a lot of good and bad, just like any other place. But if you're not willing to at least try to expose yourself to something new, you'll never be open to Africa. And I think for me and my family, we're at the point where we kind of already in knee deep and we can't really get out of it. And I think for us, the Most High just kind of is leading us in a direction where we really are not in control. Some days I get a call and I'm like, do I really have to do that? Do I have to purchase that right now? Like, if Brother Clyde is listening, he already know, like, I'm I'm always, hesitant, like, oh my gosh, there's something else we got to pay for, or something else we have to do. But I just feel like the Most High is like pushing us so much to where we just have to either go with the current or be, or be crushed. And to be honest, I don't want to be crushed by this U.S. system or this Western system anymore. Like, I'm really done being crushed by it, man. Like, people can say whatever they want to say about Tanzania. They can say whatever they want to say about Africa. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say about the diaspora. We knew we were a mess before we went to Africa. A lot of you knew that we were a mess, but yet you still chose to deal with some people in your community. So I just feel like it comes with the territory. I feel like it comes with the territory. You just got to be willing to fight. And so, to be honest, I'm just willing to fight. I'm just willing to fight for the investment that my family made, all the way to my mom, my grandmother, my uncles, like the investment that spiritual investment, the financial investment that we chose to embark on. I'm just not giving up on it. And a lot of people feel like we gave up because we came back, but in reality, we gave up. So, not gave up, but we took a break from Africa so that we can, for one, afford to continue to build. It's hard to be in Africa building when you don't have a good amount of income coming in. So for me and mine, it is time for us to move back. And I'm definitely going to bring y'all on that journey because, I didn't really know much about YouTube then. But now I know a lot about YouTube, and it's very important that you bring people along on the journey, especially if you want to encourage people to do something. So, to answer your question, yes, Tanzania does give you a residency permit. So you get a residency permit, not not citizenship. And I think citizenship after 5 years, I want to say 5 or 7 years, you can apply for citizenship, but it's some requirements that you have to have. Like, I think you have to speak the language, um, you have to have, like, established your company. I believe that's some of the requirements. But to be honest, they don't do dual citizenship. So if you do plan to get citizenship in Tanzania, you're gonna have to give up, your original citizenship. So if you're a U.S. citizen or Canadian or whatever, you have to give up that citizenship for Tanzania. Shalom, fam. Me and speaking of permits, me and my family, my wife and my two daughters at the time, we did the investment permit. And it's for 2 years. And that investment permit cost us about $3,500 plus the fees that we paid to the lawyer. It's like 3 tiers of that investment permit. I think we got Class A, which is like the most expensive. I don't really know why we got the most expensive at the time. Will I do the same when we renew? Will I do the same? I won't do the same permit. I won't. I would do some type of permit, but it will be some basic investment permit. I don't really know which one to get at this time, but yeah. Shalom, fam. Shalom. But yeah, for the most part, fam, that's all I want to get on here and say is that it's time to move back. And I do want to leave you with 3 reasons why you should go ahead and look at Tanzania, also different East African countries. East African countries have a untapped hospitality market for tourism. Um, if you plan to open like a hotel or a lodge, or you plan to do Airbnb, you can actually set something up investment wise for low risk and at a low investment as well. So my advice to you is when you get to Tanzania, if you plan to go to Tanzania, establish your company, work on getting to know somebody like local wise. It's plenty of local people who are looking for opportunities just to make a little bit of money, as well as, maybe even go into business with you. But you can easily find some local person that's willing to help you set up a company or will be willing to put themselves on your company. Now, a lot of people always say, oh, I don't want to do the investment company or investment thing with Tanzania because I have to give the local person 51%, controlling shares of the company. To be honest, you have 2 directors, and those directors could be you and your spouse, or you and a family member. That local person will just be the shareholder. They will not be controlling of the company. They don't even have access to certain things. They will just be an employer of the company. So, or employee of the company. And they'll be a shareholder, of course. But you just got to have all that written down in place and submit it when you submit your business documents. Now, because we initially had 1 local person, and then we had to remove that person and use another person, we had to go through some changes. But all you have to do is get those documents, notarized, and make sure you have your lawyer involved, and you won't ever have issues with that. I mean, what's the benefit of that, man? But fam, Tanzania is also a opportunity to get a legal permit. If you want a residency permit, if you want like a 2-year or 1-year permit, you can legally go to immigration, and they will be more than welcome to give you that permit if you are willing to pay. It's really easier than a lot of people make it seem. For some reason, I always say this on videos, people are so afraid of talking to the Tanzanian government, and you don't have to be afraid of talking to the Tanzanian government. If you are afraid, you get your lawyer. If you want to use a lawyer, or you just contact immigration yourself, they have people who can assist you. It won't be a hard time like some people say. It's only a hard time when you get in the country and you wait until your 3-month visa is up, and then you decide that you want to get a permit and you are rushing for time. That's the only time I see people deal with issues. But if you get to Tanzania, you plan to stay for 3 months, go ahead and look at a more permanent visa option. If you have all the paperwork, you just submit that and you'll be able to have a visa. So it's what I learned after being there for so many times. It's ridiculous that we are so afraid to go to immigration. But when we were going through the second phase of getting our permit, we had to visit immigration like 5 days in a row just to get our permits. And every day we got there, it was a long wait. And then we get there and they say, oh, they ain't ready yet. But then we would get a notification saying they're ready. So they just come with it. You just got to be patient and stuff like that. But so that's one other reason. So the first reason was Tanzania has a growing hospitality and tourism sector. So even though you have to be careful with the tourism because that's kind of more for local people. And I think that is for a reason because Tanzanians want to control how people come in and view their country. And I can respect it. So what we can do is come in on the hospitality end and help with accommodation. So if you want to invest in property, real estate, hotels and stuff like that, I think that's where it would be good for us at this time. It's just my personal opinion. As well as understanding that the government will be more than welcome to take your take your investment and get you into the country legally. And the third thing is the low risk. People talk so much trash about Tanzania, but I don't really know any other African country where you can go and only be making $400 a week. And some people only get $400 or $500 a month and they can survive. So I don't really know what people be talking about, but we had a 6-bedroom and it was only $299 a month. $299 and 99 USD a month. And our lights only ran us about $21, maybe 25 sometimes. And the water was like even less than that, maybe like 10 or 12. And that was because we had a few leaks. Um, and then food wise, depending on how you eat, if you eat locally, you can survive with maybe even $40 a week, sometimes $20 or $30 a week. You can really survive on less than that if you don't go to the shopping centers, if you don't go to supermarkets. So if you don't go to Shoppers or Jumbo constantly, you can survive. So to be honest, I've been in America too long at this point, and Tanzania spoiled me, man. People can say whatever they want about Africa. Tanzania has spoiled me and my family. Um, I feel like we always inflamed here, like no matter what we do, no matter how hard we train, how good and clean we eat, it's like our bodies reject everything that we eat here. It's very hard to describe because you think that you can come to a country and eat clean. It's supposed to be one of the most developed countries, but it's just bad all around, man. Ooh, Judea, you almost hit your face. It's just bad all around here, man. Like, get your brother too. Sorry, I'm at the park, fam, and my niece and nephews, they just keep calling me over and over again. But yeah, fam, if you, to be honest, if you want to get to Tanzania and you're serious about repatriating, you can reach out to Jamaican African Travels, Mr. Clyde or Miss Maria. It's better to email them. Their email is in my description, my bio for my channel. So you can always reach out to them and at least get their opinion and do a consultation with them. I personally don't necessarily do consultations because, to be honest, fam, I work like crazy here in the US, and I'm just not really interested in doing that. I barely can get on YouTube and do videos. I really need to stop saying I'm a content creator because I'm just this random person sometimes getting on YouTube. But also, if you would like to join a travel group, I am starting a travel group of my own, and it is it's a nonprofit travel group. It's to get people who can't really afford to travel outside of the country and help them save and budget and, come up with a wise strategic plan to maybe help them and their spouse or family travel. So, um, do you have any good rental numbers? All right, when you say rental numbers, it's so many people that you can contact on Instagram. To be honest, all real estate agents and dalalis is what they call them in Tanzania. They all work together. So to be honest, if you don't rent a certain property, or if you go to one property, it'll be like 3 or 4 other people showing that same property, and they will just pass you off to the next person. So I would go on Instagram if you have it. Go on Instagram, type in like Dalali, and you can type in even Tanzania or Dar es Salaam. Or if you know you want to stay outside of Dar es Salaam, you can type in Tegeta or in Mbweni. Or if you want to stay in Bagamoyo region, you just type in Dalali. And I'll put it in the comments. But you type in Dalali. If I can figure out how to leave a comment on my own video. Okay, let me see. All right, I really don't even know how to leave a comment on my own video. All right, fam. Let me see. How do I leave a comment? Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to make a comment in a second. But you type in Dalali, you type in the area that you want to stay in Tanzania, and then Instagram will pull up all these Dalalis or realtors pages, and you can just get one of their WhatsApp, and you'll have to just contact them through WhatsApp. I do know one guy, but the only thing with him is he is so hard to get in contact with. You have to message him and text him and call him like 100 times to even get him to get on the phone with you. So, and he was very unreliable the last few times we dealt with him. So the last 2 places that we rented was literally because one of our friends lived on the same property, and when she had a empty unit, she let us know, and then we moved into that unit. So right now we just renting like a 2-bedroom where we're storing our stuff at. And then we have some other stuff stored in some other locations, but for the most part, we were renting that 6-bedroom house up until a few months ago. So, and somebody broke into it and stole my motorcycle. I ain't gonna go down that road again. But either way, one thing about Africa, they do steal, like every other place, if you leave your things unattended, they do break in and steal your stuff. So you just gotta have good security. So, but yeah, any of y'all are more than welcome to email me. You can email me at origindonal, that's ORGENDNAL @gmail.com, and I can give you some more information. But yeah, you also can send me a WhatsApp. We can chat through WhatsApp. You can also follow me on Instagram if you would like. But fam, another big thing that you have to think about before you move is your monthly income. It's just one big thing that some people don't go with income and they go with a lump sum of money. It's no lump sum of money that you can have that's gonna last you, because rule of thumb is when you are in Tanzania, are you in any African country, you're gonna have to tip somebody to get services done. And because we coming from a different country and you're a foreigner and you speak English or you speak any other language, they know and they will charge you or overcharge you. So anything that they charge you, you cut it in half and you tell them that's what you're gonna pay. So that's rule of thumb, you cut it in half. Everything that they tell you, you cut it in half, and then you meet them from that halfway mark. I'm gonna tell you how many times that worked for me. It has worked so many times, fam. Only time it didn't work is when we went to buy a van. I tried the whole cut in half thing. Those Indians said, "Nope, you better pay. You're gonna pay 6,000. That's what you're gonna pay." So me and my family had to come together and pay that. But everything else, you cut it in half. They tell you $500 for the rent. If it's furnished, you cut it in half and you say, "No, I'm only paying 250." And then they may say, "Oh, okay, give me 299." All right, and then you might be right there, but don't don't ever settle for the price that they give you. All right, y'all, we gotta go. But yeah, fam, I gotta go too. But I do plan to interview one of my friends on here pretty soon. I actually gotta reach out to them and see if they're okay with getting on. But we can do another live, and you can just hear from other people who have lived in Tanzania and are planning to go back to Tanzania. Y'all, let's go. But yeah, fam, again, if you would like to email me, if you have any other questions, help her down. Help her. If you have any other questions, you can just email me at origindonal. I don't like this live thing right here on the phone because it don't even allow you to comment the way you need to comment. So I'm about to leave these kids out here though. Let's go. All right, fam. Y'all bless. How you even in the video?